Hello, hello, hello again, and we have our first eliminated team from the 2022 World Cup. I'm sure many of you would have predicted that this particular team would have been the first team out, but we wish them luck all the same in their final dead rubber match. Who am I talking about? Let's just get into it, huh? Subscribe if you're new for daily football content, and a big hello to those who have subscribed already. Thank you for joining our community. Welcome. I'm Adrian, by the way. Qatar taking on Senegal, with both sides trying to move past their opening match losses to Ecuador and Netherlands respectively, and it was Qatar that actually looked like the better side to me in the opening exchanges of this particular match. Senegal were a bit blunt in the attack at times. They took a while to get up and running, but once they did, they provided plenty of questions for that Qatari back line. But it was Qatar that came close to winning a penalty when Afif went down in the box, but again, for me, the ref was right for not giving this. I say again, because it's similar in a sense to Canada's versus Belgium, where Richie Larea stepped into Witsel's path and initiated the contact himself. I mean, I would have loved another penalty for Canada, you know that, but the impartial side of my brain couldn't really stomach that one. Same situation here, as Afif had the ball, felt the presence of the defender running by him, and stepped into the defender's path to initiate the contact that otherwise wouldn't have been there. Again, if the defender had stepped across Afif's path and the defender initiated the contact, that's a stonewall penalty in my opinion. But I like that referees aren't putting up with these little tricks from attackers, because if Afif doesn't step across, there's no foul. So why should a defender be punished for simply running alongside an attacker and tracking their run? Anyway, towards the end of the first half, Boulaye Dias Salernitana put Senegal ahead as he capitalized on a slip from the Qatari defender, a slip and a mishit, that's deadly, leaving it on a plate for Dia to slot it past the keeper. 1-0, and they only went and solidified their lead early in the second half. A great cross. Jeju connected perfectly with his head, a glancing header across goal that was just out of reach of Qatari keeper Mashal Aissa Barsham. Yes, different keeper for this one from the Senegal match, but still no clean sheet for Qatar, who are really lacking in quality, aren't they? Shocking to me that they had that golden run for the Asian Cup 3 years ago, but I guess 3 years is a long time in football, right? Plenty can change. That said, they began to wake up a bit and put pressure on Mendy in Senegal's goal around the 60th minute mark, forcing a world-class save in the 67th minute. After conceding their second, Qatar actually started to play very well in respect to how they were playing prior to then. And finally, in the 78th minute, they scored their first ever goal at a World Cup. Muntari came off of the bench, and he managed to score seconds later. A great cross from the right, a great leap from Muntari to finish past Mendy. Training pitch goal, perfectly executed. Unfortunately for Qatar, Bamba Dieng ruined the party with a third for Senegal as the sub smacked a squared ball past the keeper for 3-1. And that was game. Great win for Senegal, who are still alive, my friend. Netherlands versus Ecuador. I was excited for this one to see how long the 11.5-hour record of not conceding a goal could last for Ecuador. They've been super, and it's gone. 5 minutes in, and Cody Gakpo added another 20 million to his price tag with a rocket from the edge of the box that flew into the top corner at the near post. Lovely strike. Netherlands added early against Ecuador, becoming the first team to score against Ecuador since Argentina did it 11.5 hours of football ago. As far as Gakpo goes, he's flying. I mean, between the national team and PSV, the 23-year-old has now scored 17 and assisted 16 from 31 matches, which is just ridiculous output. However, Ecuador didn't just sit back. They took the game to the Netherlands, especially down Ecuador's left, with Estrada and Estupiñán cooking up some trouble, getting balls into the box, and really making Ake, Timber, and Van Dijk work. Valencia started drifting further and further wide, cutting in to strike at goal and force big saves out of Noppert now and then. In fact, Estupiñán nearly had an equalizer in first half stoppage time, deflecting, or redirecting I should say, the ball goalward past Noppert from a low strike, but his teammate was standing in an offside position in the eye line of Noppert, so it didn't count as it was offside. But was it? Yes, the original strike was taken as he was standing in the keeper's eye line, but what about when Estupiñán guided it past him? I guess the argument is that Porozo was still affecting the play. But anyway, forget all that, because Ecuador grabbed another goal shortly after the half, with Ener Valencia jumping on a rebound to score again. This man has scored the last 6 World Cup goals for Ecuador, which is an insane stat. That's why the first goal was disallowed, because only Ener Valencia is allowed to score for Ecuador at the World Cup. He's now equaled the record set by Eusebio, who also scored 6 consecutively for Portugal back in the day, as well as another guy. Rossi did it, and someone else. Just before the hour mark, Ecuador had 2 strikes come close, including Plata's thunderbolt that shook the entire goal as it smacked off the crossbar. Ecuador looked the far better side in this game, both going forward and in defense. I mean, they limited the Netherlands to 2 attempts, 1 on target, that being Gakpo's goal. Netherlands are looking light in the attack. 3 shots on target against Senegal, 2 goals, 1 shot on target against Ecuador, 1 goal. At least they are making the most of their limited chances, but eventually you revert back to the mean and your luck or efficiency runs out. So that will be a worry for Van Gaal. Perhaps Memphis starting a little more often on the cards now. So with this draw, it means that Qatar now are officially eliminated. Ecuador and Netherlands sit atop the table, with the Netherlands playing Qatar next. Well, Ecuador just need a draw against Senegal, and they are through. Lose, and Senegal replaces them in the round of 16. Wales versus Iran was predictably a bit drab in the first half. I say predictably because each team knew they needed to win this game in order to have a chance of moving on. And so neither wanted to concede an early goal. In fact, in the early kickoffs, which are the 5 a.m. kickoffs for me, there had been just 6 goals from the 5 previous matches, 3 of which came in Argentina's loss to Saudi Arabia. But anyway, after a very, very, very forgettable first half, in my opinion, the nerves started to kick in for each side, which led to opportunities mostly for Iran, led by who else but Mehdi Taremi, who was easily the best player on the pitch once again. Iran started to carve out opportunities, even managing to hit both posts in a matter of seconds. They were really the far superior side in that second half with the chances they were creating compared to Wales, who looked a bit stiff out there. Nothing was really working. It all changed when Wayne Hennessy came flying out of his area to challenge for a ball, and in doing so, completely missed it and took out Taremi. Originally, it was given as yellow, but it was a stonewall red as he was denied a goal-scoring opportunity. He was the last man. His leg was high and endangering his opponent. I mean, take your pick of criteria there. Red card for Hennessy, the first of the tournament, and very unfortunate for Wales. And you could feel that a goal was coming for Iran at that point. I mean, they were already looking the better side. The only surprise was that it wasn't Taremi who got either of the goals for Iran. The first came from Ruzbe Chesmi in the 98th minute with a low strike from the edge of the box, and if that wasn't enough, another counter from Iran left the Wales back line and Danny Ward in goal. Yes, Leicester's Danny Ward. But anyway, Ramin Rezaian with the other for Iran. 2-0, and a massive shout out to the Asian teams in this competition. Iran are in control of their own destiny now. We'd love to see a few Asian sides make it through and really shake things up. Like I said, I hope my predictions are wrong, because when things go against what you expect, it's all the more exciting. England versus USA, football versus soccer, long lost brothers in this world, and 2 of the most unseasoned national anthems in the world. Dry compared to the likes of Portugal, Brazil, Italy. We want battle anthems, not requests to God to save a king or hey, did you see that flag songs. Anyway, to the football itself, England had moments early. That Harry Kane opportunity that was blocked in particular stands out as a very good chance. Other than that, the 2 best chances or close opportunities fell to the USA in the first half. They moved the ball well, often advancing down the right where they targeted Shaw and Maguire's side of the pitch before whipping it into either McKennie, who had a great opportunity from 8 yards out that he put over the bar, or working it wide. Nice switch to Pulisic, who cannoned a strike off the bar later and had a header bounce just wide, again from a cross from the right. I love how nobody is afraid of anybody in this World Cup. It doesn't matter the stature of any team. People are coming to play. Well, the exception being Costa Rica versus Spain. That was a filthy blowout. Iran versus England as well. But for the most part, traditional powers are getting pushed. And this game was no exception. England seemed shell-shocked by the USA's counter-pressing. They were rattled throughout this match, really. But with the quality England have, it takes just one attacking movement to cause problems, and a quick touch put the ball perfectly in the path of Mason Mount in the first half, and his strike gave Turner a lot of trouble. But overall, the USA were the better side in the first half. A lot of credit to Berhalter, who had the midfield overrun completely. Mount and Bellingham were quiet throughout the match. And honestly, the second half had many of the same hallmarks of the first, such as England having more of the ball in the first 10-15 minutes, and then the USA completely taking over. Not a single shot on target from England in that second half until the 87th minute, when Rashford hit a limp curler toward Turner, which was also their first attempt of that second half. It was brutal from England. That said, they nearly won it in stoppage time with Kane's header, which was uncharacteristically wide of the mark. If that went in, it would have flattered England a great deal based on how the match went. The USA were far superior in my opinion, but 0-0 the final. So it will come down to the final match day, as England failed to secure qualification with their second win, but they're still in first and they'll try to get that win against Wales, while the USA will have to beat Iran to overtake them in the standings. So that is going to be a great match. So the second round of matches is well and truly on its way. 2 groups down, 6 to go, and you know we'll be back tomorrow to track everything else. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate you, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.